The Cincinnati Bengals find themselves in a storm that feels all too familiar. Just when it seemed like this franchise might finally steady the ship and make a real run in the AFC North, the one thing they feared most happened again. Joe Burrow got hurt. For Bengals fans, it feels like déjà vu. Burrow's brilliance has never been in question, but his durability has always hovered like a shadow over the team's future. And now, with reports suggesting Burrow could miss up to 3 months if surgery is required, Cincinnati is staring at a season that could unravel before it truly begins. The timing couldn't be worse. The Bengals, with their balanced roster, were poised to compete not just for the division but for something greater. Their defense is one of the most respected in the league, their wide receiver core among the most dangerous, and Burrow's leadership has often been the glue binding it all together. But football is a brutal game, and once again, the fate of a franchise comes down to the health of one man's arm and leg. Without him, the Bengals are forced to look at their options, and that's where the drama truly begins. The name on everyone's lips is Shedeur Sanders. The college football phenom who has captivated audiences with his poise, arm talent, and maturity beyond his years is suddenly being linked to Cincinnati. At first, it seemed like mere speculation, whispers in the background of talk shows. But then reports confirmed it. The Bengals have put Sanders on their short list of potential targets as they look for depth at quarterback. Suddenly, what was once idle chatter has become a very real possibility, igniting both hope and controversy across the league. Stephen A. Smith was one of the first big voices to fan the flames, pointing out the obvious truth. Burrow is phenomenal, but his body keeps betraying him. And when you're a franchise with Super Bowl aspirations, you can't afford to pin your hopes on someone who might not be on the field come January. Smith suggested Sanders could be the fresh start Cincinnati desperately needs, a quarterback who brings energy, resilience, and an underdog mentality that mirrors the city itself. The thought of Sanders stepping into the orange and black has electrified fans who are desperate for stability, but it's not just analysts and fans who are buzzing. Reports from Mirror Sports USA indicate that Sanders is one of 5 players currently on the Bengals' radar as they search for insurance at the game's most important position. The front office, normally guarded and careful with leaks, has allowed just enough information to slip out to fuel the speculation. Could Sanders really be the one? Could the Bengals pivot so quickly from their franchise cornerstone to the hottest name in college football? Across the division, the Cleveland Browns are watching closely. The Browns have their own quarterback struggles, highlighted by Joe Flacco's miscues and costly turnovers early in the season. If Cincinnati hesitates, Cleveland might pounce, and that possibility adds a combustible new layer to one of the league's fiercest rivalries. Imagine Sanders in brown and orange, leading the Browns against the very team that once debated signing him. The implications are massive, and it's why this story has taken on a life of its own. And yet, as exciting as this possibility is, not everyone believes it's realistic. Former NFL star Damien Woody injected a sobering dose of reality, reminding fans that replacing Joe Burrow isn't as simple as plugging in a new face. Burrow isn't just a quarterback, he's the identity of the Bengals. His toughness, his calm under pressure, his ability to elevate teammates, these are things you can't just replicate. Woody emphasized that the Bengals will have to lean on whoever steps in like never before, shifting the weight of the franchise away from its defensive identity and onto a quarterback who may not be ready for the spotlight. Still, fans can't help but dream. Sanders embodies everything people love about football. The underdog story, the rise from obscurity, the fight to prove doubters wrong, it's the stuff of legend. Cam Newton even drew parallels between Sanders and some of the greatest stories in league history. He mentioned Tom Brady, Dak Prescott, Kurt Warner, all of whom got their shot only because someone else went down. In that sense, Sanders could be the next great chapter in the NFL's book of unlikely heroes. And for fans in Cincinnati battered by years of heartbreak, that kind of hope is intoxicating. But the Bengals aren't the only suitors. This is where the drama intensifies. The Miami Dolphins, already frustrated by Tua Tagovailoa's struggles under pressure, have quietly emerged as another team monitoring Sanders' situation. Dolphins fans are restless, their patience thinning with every sack and interception. Bringing in Sanders would ignite a fire under the franchise, signaling that they're ready to compete not just today, but for years to come. The pressure is now squarely on the Bengals to make their move before Miami beats them to it, and then there's San Francisco. The 49ers, always a team with Super Bowl aspirations, are now facing uncertainty after Brock Purdy's injury. According to TalkSports, they've joined the race for Sanders, with fans pushing hard for the team to act quickly. For a franchise that prides itself on forward thinking and offensive innovation, adding Sanders would be a bold but fitting move. And if the 49ers enter the bidding war, Cincinnati's chances of landing him shrink dramatically. This is the reality of the NFL. Talent never stays on the market long. The Bengals may want Sanders, the fans may demand him, but the competition is fierce. Miami, San Francisco, and even Cleveland could all swoop in and change the narrative overnight. The Bengals are playing a dangerous game, waiting, hesitating, while the rest of the league circles like sharks smelling blood in the water. Through it all, one truth remains. Joe Burrow's injury has forced the Bengals into a crossroads. Do they double down on their star, hoping his body holds up long enough to carry them to glory? Or do they look to the future, to a player like Shedeur Sanders, and begin writing the next chapter now? It's a choice that could define the franchise for the next decade, and it's not one they can afford to get wrong. For now, the speculation continues. Fans chant Sanders' name on social media, analysts debate his fit, and rival teams sharpen their knives. In Cincinnati, the future of the season, and perhaps the franchise itself, hangs in limbo. What's clear is that this is no longer just about one injury. It's about identity, about vision, about whether the Bengals will cling to the past or embrace the future. And so the question lingers, growing louder with each passing day. Will Shedeur Sanders be the next big thing in Cincinnati? Or will the Bengals watch as another team steals their shot at a star? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain. The drama surrounding the Bengals has never been higher. If you're a Bengals fan, what do you think? Should Cincinnati make a move for Shedeur Sanders and secure their future? Or should they stay loyal to Joe Burrow despite the risks? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss the next big update in this unfolding story.